the first glimpses we get of Rome, it's impossible to see the greatness that lay in its future. In the dark ages that followed the collapse of the Bronze Age civilizations, it was just another cluster of clannish villages fighting for survival. But at least the Romans had chosen a good spot for their city. Situated in Latium in central Italy, on a group of 7 hills, it was the best crossing point of the river Tiber. Like Sparta, geography made Rome into a land power, a nation of foot sloggers. And its USP was its strategic position, one of central Italy's most important trade routes. Then as now, Rome was awash with foreigners. Archaic central Italy was a fluid world. People moved freely between cities, and Rome became a real melting pot. Rome soon began to develop the institutions and public spaces that we identify with urban civilization. Planned streets, temples, and a forum. These friezes show the early history of the city. Now, uncovering the early history of any civilization is difficult, but with Rome, it's very complicated indeed because of its longevity and success. Later Roman historians clearly embellished the early history of Rome to disguise its humble beginnings. After all, any great city needed a great history. You can tell a lot about a society from the stories they tell about themselves. And as creation myths go, the legend of Romulus and Remus is revelatory. The Romans clearly liked to see themselves as a product of the school of hard knocks. The twin brothers had been chucked into the Tiber to drown by their great uncle, and were washed up at the future site of Rome, where a maternal-minded she-wolf took over their upbringing. But what could have been a heartwarming story of adversity overcome had a sting in the tail. Romulus and Remus fell out with one another, and Romulus, in a fit of pique, murdered Remus, spilling his blood all over the foundations of his fledgling city. For later Romans, who knew all about the civil wars that had racked their city, that Rome had been born out of bloody fratricide would have seemed very fitting. Rome's early history reflects 2 abiding obsessions. The first was the threat from external forces, and the second was internal dissension. Weakness in the face of